Hey guys, I have been looking forward to Black Myth Wukong for what seems like absolutely forever. The game is finally here, and I wanted to give you guys my early thoughts so far. I think, about 12-ish hours into the game. I'm playing this one on my PC, running on a 4080 graphics card with a 7800X 3D CPU. This thing is honestly, let's be real, it is putting my rig to the test, and I've got a pretty good PC rig. I wanted to give you guys my early impressions of the game, and just keep in mind this is not a full review. I'm going to have that out as soon as I beat the game. I do not believe in reviewing a game before you beat it. I think it's just like a movie or a book. You should finish it, see as much as you can before dropping any type of review. Also, if you're new to the channel, help us out with a like or subscribe. My channel basically provides gamers with news, reviews, and tip videos. I play all big releases and indie games as well. My goal is to help you guys know what's worth your money. I have to say that my favorite thing about Black Myth Wukong is the presentation. This is one of those insane titles that takes the whole graphics, environment, and even just the art style to the next level. You're going to notice it right off the bat with this amazing introduction cutscene that gets you into the God Monkey's shoes. Post that fight, you're playing as someone called a Descendant who's growing in strength. I will go out and say, I'm really not that familiar with the original story, so I went out and did some research. I think if you're considering the game, a little bit of research on Journey to the West, which is the book I think that it's based off of, is really, really huge. I think it's important, and I think it's helpful. But you can still play the game without that. I mean, it's its own story. You're going to notice some really cool callbacks and type of lore bits, so I think it does add a little bit of depth to the experience. Like I said earlier, I'm a couple chapters in, and I'm over level 20 now, so I will say that, starting out the game is just a little bit slow. I had this like weird feeling of, man, this is kind of repetitive with the whole light attack to heavy attack type of flow. I'm going to come out and say as well, I felt this same thing in the original God of War that took Kratos into the whole Norse world. And I think just like that game, you start leveling up, there's an in-depth talent tree, and I think from there the game just starts opening up for you and the variety begins. The combat basically goes from spamming light attacks to having magical effects, different cooldown abilities, armor that's going to be enhancing your ability and your build, as well as these new talents that give you different attack stances and perks. An example I think of a really good perk that's a game changer is the composure skill by far. Your light attack combo ends with a smash that hits for a ton of damage, but what happens here is that enemies are always going to be randomly hitting you between it, and it ends up stopping you from finishing the attack unless you stun them. What this skill does is that when you dodge mid-combo, you're able to continue the combo after the dodge. It keeps the battle fast-paced, and it really keeps the action fun and fluid. Speaking of the action, I think the game is basically just constant boss battles. You have a linear world that takes you to a boss. If you stray off that path, I think it's also great because you can find different chests with gear and materials for crafting, which I've crafted a little bit, but nothing really crazy yet. I think it opens up soon, or at least I'll end up using it a lot more later on. But you are able to also find some secret bosses. What happens here is that these bosses give you their abilities, and they also enhance you. A prime example is that I'm able to shift into this wolf that throws ninja stars, but just having the skill equipped boosts my critical hit. People tried to honestly, I think online, compare this one to like a Souls game, but I'm going to be honest, I really don't think this is a Souls game at all. I mean, is it a little difficult? Yeah, at times, but I don't think it's anything too crazy. So I think if you're worried about the difficulty, don't worry at all. It's doable. You're also like not losing any of like your level up material. So unlike Souls games where sometimes you're just cooked, at this point, I mean, you die and you try again, you die and you try again. I haven't really, I would say, struggled too much, at least on certain bosses. There was someone at the end of a chapter that was kind of annoying for me, water boss guy. And I mean, I made it to that freaking annoying tiger. So far, those are my two big challenges. But, other than that, I've been able to almost beat everyone on my first try. I mean, the game puts you to the test, but I can't call this one a Souls-like. I also think it's really crazy how bad people want to put a label on this game by calling it either like a Souls-like, a boss attack game, Devil May Cry with monkeys, or even just a God of War clone. I think Black Myth Wukong is its own game, in my opinion. It's got this awesome style. There's a really cool focus on the action. There's a lot of in-depth talents that kind of add to the whole combat experience. And I think there's an amazing environment with chapters that seem to switch up the design, at least from what I'm seeing so far, to whole different brand new worlds and new environments. I don't think it's all good, though. I have been saying a lot of good things, and I will admit, like I said earlier, early on combat is a little repetitive till you level up. You've also got like this invisible wall issue And I think it's a pain just because of just how often and how many there are. The way they designed this environment, it's just super nice. And I mean, it's just begging for you to explore. But what's happening to me is I'm just walking into constant invisible walls and I'm trying to get to areas that can't be explored. You're just not able, you just don't know where you can go unless you just walk over there and just see, well, can't go there. Let's try here. So it's a lot of just trial and error, I would say, for the most part. And it's really so far my biggest complaint. I do think like if they ever do make a sequel about this game, I mean, an open world would be amazing. The game has been doing well. It's shattering records. So hopefully there is some type of like follow-up game or sequel. When it comes to the story, they tell this one in riddles as well. I think so far, at least for me, it's a little hard for me to understand. I'm not going to fully comment on the story, at least till I get to the end of my official review. So hold off on that. That'll be coming soon. But I mean, other than that, I think the positives so far really just outweigh any small negatives that I've got. I'm definitely enjoying my time with this game. I've been playing it constantly almost every day after work. And I think if you made it this far, guys, I appreciate you for watching. I'll be putting out a tip video for some early game things that I've noticed for anyone that's interested in what kind of skills they should do or what they should be doing early on in the game. And like I said, once this one is complete, I'm going to be doing a full review, letting you guys know, I think, if this one is worth your money or not. I will say early on, freaking 12-ish hours or whatever, however far I am, I like it. I really like it. I think it's fun. I think it's a blast. I don't regret this purchase at all, but we'll see how I feel by the end. Don't forget to help out the channel with a like and subscribe, especially if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.